Hi, welcome to Basic Guitar with me, your host, Justin Lelia. Today I'd like to talk about the basics of guitar harmony. We're going to talk about triads and those inversions of the triads. First, I'd like to show you an example of how to use triads using Beethoven's Ode to Joy. So there you have it. Basics of guitar harmony start with playing chords. Chords are a group of notes put together. They could be 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes, or 6 notes. The least amount of notes you can have in a chord are 2, but typically that chord doesn't have the personality that makes up most harmony in music. A 3-note chord is where we like to start. The most common chords in music are the major and minor chords. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about an example of how to use these. I'm going to show you 6 different chords during this lesson. So let's get right into it. Let's start off with one of the shapes and identifying a chord. Like I said, I'm going to show you 6 different shapes in this lesson. 3 are going to be major shapes or major chords, major triads, and 3 are going to be minor chords. So we're going to start off with an A major chord with the note A, E, and C sharp. This chord we call a root on 1 chord because one of these notes happens to be what we call the root. It identifies the chord A. That's the root of the chord, and it's also an A chord. So I have a root on 1 chord, the root's on the 1st string. Now, I can invert these notes and stack them differently to get a different sounding chord but still be an A major chord. I do that like this. Now I'm going to take the A and I'm going to make that on the, put that on the 2nd string. It sounds different, but if you listen closely, it's just the same chord. Now the pitches are rearranged differently. So I have the A on the high string. The C sharp is on the high string. The A is on the 2nd string, and the 5th of the chord is on the 3rd string. We call that a root on 2 chord because now the root's on the 2nd string. Root on 2. Now I can change this chord to another inversion. Make the root on the 3rd string because we have 3 different notes we're dealing with and we're playing them on 3 strings. So now I have the root on 3. I'm going to show you in this video how to play these chords. Okay, so now let's talk about the minor versions of these. By simply flatting one of these notes, happens to be in the A chord, the C sharp, or the 3rd of the chord, there you have the minor shape for the root on 1 minor chord. Now here's another shape for the root on 2 chord. And then the 3rd shape Okay, so I wanted to make this fun for you. So in order to learn these 6 chords, I figured we'll use a popular chorus to a Bob Marley song, Stir It Up. It uses different chords, A, E, and D. So I'm going to show you, and then we'll switch it to minor. So listen to this. Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. I'm using all the versions, all the inversions of the major chord here. Here's the root on 1. There's a root on 2, a root on 3, and root on 2. They're different chords, not all A chords. There's a D chord, there's an E chord. Now I thought it'd be fun that, although the song doesn't do this, let's change it to the minor. So we'll get to use all 6 of those chords. Stir it up, little darling, stir it up. Come on and stir it up, little darling, stir it up. So there's your exercise to learn 6 chords. You got the root on 1 major, the root on 3 major, the D chord, and then the root on 2, an E chord, and then the minor forms. Root on 1, minor A, root on 3, minor D chord, and then an E chord. These are fun chords to play around with. Like I played with Ode to Joy. You could improvise, and when you move these chords around, they give you a lot of color. So that's the basics of guitar harmony. What I wanted to show you was the major and minor chords, the 3 different inversions for each, an exercise using them. So there you have it. Enjoy your guitar.